All right, so here we have a 2009 Hyundai Elantra. We have electronic steering. We have a popping noise in the steering. This is electronic assist. There is a TSB for this noise for a coupler bushing. We verified that it is the coupler by holding the steering shaft down low while turning the steering wheel to see if we had any loose parts. We do not have any loose parts. That is in the assist, slapping back and forth. We're expecting to see a pretty torn up bushing once we pull it apart. So starting off this job, we need to get rid of some coverings here for the steering column. So once the steering wheel is turned, we have a screw on one side and a screw on the other. We want to remove all this first so that we can recenter the steering wheel and then disconnect the battery. We are playing with the airbag right here. We're going to try to do this job with just lowering the steering column to access that motor for the steering assist, to try to keep this as simple as possible without disrupting any of the angle and torque sensors here. We have no check engine light to begin with. That is a big thing. If you have a check engine light, you may have some more concerns there. So we'll start by taking that cover off. All right, so now we want to remove this metal shield. There's a couple 5 bolts, 2 here, 1 here, 10 millimeters. So I'm going to remove this AC duct right here. There's 1 bolt holding it, 1 screw. Alright, so now we're ready to drop the steering column. We have 4 bolts, 2 up close, 2 are back behind. When we're doing this, there is a hook in the back that holds it up. The only thing we're concerned on is what wires, if any, are we're going to pull. We're just going to lower the column down just a little bit here. So I'm only going to loosen the front 2. I'll remove the back 2 because that hook will keep it from falling down. If I remove these, the front will fall down. Alright, so everything is loose. Back bolts removed. We still have the front ones in. We have a bunch of wiring connected, different clamps, different things. We're going to put the column down so all these will pull, so we want to remove everything as free as we can. Some of these connectors are not the easiest. And some are connected into to remove the mounts. Okay. Sometimes that's easier with two people, just for those connectors that you missed, but you see we have everything free. Had to, remove everything from the mounting. Okay, so everything is disconnected. We'll tuck this stuff out of the way so we have some working room. This is the motor that we're after. The coupler is inside here. This is the electronics for the positioning sensor. Now we don't have to do any kind of recalibration because we're not disconnecting anything here. We're going solely after the motor coupler there. We do have to remove the controller off the top to be able to remove the motor. Alright, so we have the steering column resting on the seat and center console. Everything is secured. We're not pulling on any wires. Everything looks good. So what we're after is we have to remove that computer off the top there to be able to release the motor. There's two bolts, one here and one in the back. This is the main reason we have to drop the steering column. So it turns out there's 3 bolts. One is behind this cover. This is the actual, these are the 2 bolt holes that hold the back that we were talking. The 2 fronts were in these 2 holes, the 2 backs were in there. Let's see, let's go through the toolbox there, see if we have a 90-degree Torx. If not. All right, so to get that back bolt there, this cover plate will have to come off. So it has an Allen bolt holding a guard, holding another bolt that runs through for that. So first we'll get the guard. So there's the locking guard that it had. So that was there. So there's the bolt we have to get now. And now we can get to that bolt. That was the one that we were. Okay. All right, so now we have the cover loose. Now we can, now that we have this loose, we can remove the motor out. All right, so we're marking the shaft. We're going to remove the steering shaft from the column. We went ahead and marked it. That way we put it back in the exact same position. So we're going to take this bolt out. We're going to remove this and take it to the bench. We want to make sure that we do not turn the steering wheel to the column. We want to make sure that everything stays in the same positions. So we're going to go ahead and take that bolt and we'll be able to take this out. All right, so now we've removed it. We're on the bench. Removing the cover here, it gets a little, the TSB says that you're supposed to disconnect here, separate here, this wiring connection that goes in here. So we have a torque angle, we have torque, and then we have angle sensors inside here. We're trying not to disrupt all that stuff, so we were trying to follow some instructions that were in-car service like we were doing. The only thing separates bringing it to the bench is just the one bolt holding the steering shaft to the column. So we brought it over here. Things weren't going smooth as they should. There's a little binding points here. So we want to bring it to the table. You know, we want to ensure that the job is done 100%. All right, so what we had going on is we just had to get it far enough past, we can see a little guard here. And now we can remove it up. Now you can see where the old bushing was. And this is what we were after. Now we could have done this in the car, but we just wanted to make sure there is no bind points. Everything was looking correct. Being one bolt to take it off, it's a good insurance. And the other one is you cannot let go of this once it's undone. There's nowhere for it to hang. All right, so, you know, obviously we have to clean all this out. We don't want to have any left over. We want to have no contaminants inside here. It's on both sides. It transferred. Now, don't be concerned if you do have some other parts come out. This is the cone at the end. There's a spring also that's inside there that may fall out. So spring, nipple goes into the spring. The other side goes out. This piece guides on here. All right, so we got our new part from APDTY. This is an updated version. This is the latest and greatest. Now, this is the second version of the latest and greatest. The material keeps failing for some reason, so the material gets better, harder. It has to have some kind of cushion there. It is your coupler, your dampener between your electronic and your mechanical. So this is the latest and greatest part right now. We got it from APDTY. We have some links below where you can find this. So now we're going to get to cleaning and to the reinstall. Holy cow. This shit's all ground in there. Oh, look, there it is. All right, so we can see there is quite a difference. We lost all of our fingers. And this piece is just going to install right back in. These other slots will fit in the empty spots. There's that spring. We got it out when we were cleaning, making sure there was nothing there. All right, so then we just press it back together. It is spring loaded. See, we're going to have to press it in. So there will be a uniform torque sequence between the two, or the 4 bolts there, to smoothly push it on. So that we'll do that now. All right, so now we have our new coupler installed. Now we're going to line it up. We haven't moved any of the positions, so we should be pretty close, other than maybe what was messed up from the wear. All right, so now our steering wheel is locked. The key is out, the lock is on. Not change the position. About clocks, things like that. You're very concerned about tugging on while doing it. You can see it's already pulling and lifting, so just want to make sure that everything is good there. I've heard some stories of how hard this is to line back up. Some say put the coupler on the motor. Some say put the coupler on the other side. Okay. So we didn't move far, we only moved the distance of the missing coupler. So because this is spring loaded, this is the other half of a joining motor, front to back. We definitely have to worry about making sure that this is properly seated and torqued. So I'm pushing down with my thumb, take care of that spring load. We'll just snug these up before we torque them. Okay, so torque on these bolts, looking about 3.5 to 5 foot-pounds, or about 5 to 7 Newton meters there. And that's what we have is an inch-pound, so we'll go Newton. All right, so we had removed the module in the car. We're going to go ahead and assemble this all on the bench here. Other than taking the column out, not taking the column out, like I said, one bolt makes the difference. It was a lot easier here than doing it in the car, especially if you've never done it before. So we want to put this bracket back on. Okay. And that's what the lock was from before. So now this will keep some rotation, but will not let the bolt back out. Right, and now we're ready to reinstall our steering column. Now remember, we did have our line marked, and that's what we're going to line back up. The car was straight, steering wheel straight when we started. We'll make this connection point. That will still be straight. So everything will still be as is. All right, so this is still with the steering column removed. These were the two back bolts that we were doing. These were the steering column bolts that held the back in. Now there is a hook here. That hook goes on the plate. That is what we were talking about before, about holding the rear of the steering column up. So this is a, to help you out there, holding it up. So we slip it in, and then we put the bolts in. So this is the bracket where those two bolts go through. And this would be the lip that we're talking about hanging there. And there's our shaft where we're going to connect the steering shaft to. You can see our mark is right there. So we're going to line our mark up. And then we do have some connections to make. I'm not sure if we'll go straight for the bolts or if we'll start doing some upper connections. We had the headlights and turn signals connectors were on top. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, all four of our bolts are hand tight. We'll go ahead and tighten those up. Now I did notice something there that could have made it a little easier. We did not have to connect our spline to the steering shaft to the column. The steering shaft on the vehicle side compresses, so we could have installed this, compressed the shaft, and then expanded it onto the joint, which we may have to do if we didn't get it in good alignment. Once we recheck it, we may have to remove the coupler, rotate it a little bit, make sure our marks are lined up, and then reconnect it. So there is an easier way to do that. You don't have to fight with it like we just did. All right, so we got the bolts snug. They're not tight, just snug. We want to make sure that all our wire routing and everything lines back up. And then once we confirm that, then we'll go ahead and tighten all that down for the final time. All right, so we have everything back together. We still have to make sure it's tight. We just want to verify everything is working. We just hooked the battery up. Make sure we got no, there we go. Gosh, how you turn this off? There we go. All right, and we got it all. That was the problem. Obviously, we've seen it on the desk. Everything checks out. Now we will go back to reinstalling. All right, and we're all set. All right, so now we'll take it for a test drive. Everything seems good. Make sure the alignment is good. Our lines for our alignment of our steering shaft lined up to the column. We got no kickback from the electric motor. So make sure you check out our parts below. We have links to this part. Thanks for watching our video. Check out all our other videos we have here. Show us some support. Subscribe to us. Like it. Also check us out on Facebook. Same there. Subscribe to us. Like us. That helps us do more videos showing us some support. For all your part needs for the automobile, check us out on our website at www.apdty.com. Thank you for watching.